brought up another point that I think is worth talking about, and that is these games as an introduction to, specifically games like Modern Warfare, an introduction to the military. And there is some evidence that gamers bring with them into the military an advantage in specific combat situations. We'll talk about that coming up next. This is Nightside.
You could say
And we're back. This is the Nightside Project. I'm Ethan Millard. Alex Keary has the evening off. In a little bit, we're going to bring you some new information from Stockton, Utah, where the mayor is having to explain himself as we speak. Their meeting started at 7:30. They're trying to get to the bottom of what happened when the mayor fired a police officer, then unfired him, but suspended him without pay after the police officer gave the mayor's son a ticket. The mayor then went into hiding and conducted a, quote, internal investigation, of course, all by himself into what happened. How would you love to be your mayor in that kind of town, where you've got hiring and firing over even a police officer on behalf of your son, by the way, and then any investigation is done by you in secret? Anyway, it's all going down right now. I just cannot believe what's been going on out there. Sarah Dalla from KSL TV is there now, and in a little while we're going to be talking with her. In the meantime, we're wrapping up a conversation about, it's almost time to go to this break. All right, well, let's get Ricardo here. And Ricardo,
hey,
thanks for calling back.
No, sorry we got cut off.
No, it's all right.
Jump right into it. I think any of these kid situations, we're talking about video games right now. Ultimately, it comes down to parental responsibility. I think that just the term that we use for this type of entertainment being games, I think there's like this fun and innocent connotation involved with that word, and so parents, whether it's, they think of maybe a board game. Well, this isn't hopscotch. This isn't, checkers. This isn't, asteroids. This isn't, the old video games. And, so parents need to know what's going on. It's just like you said earlier, where, parents wouldn't allow, or hopefully wouldn't allow, their 10, 11-year-old, 12-year-old to go to a rated R movie. But there needs to be an education with so many parents out there. A couple of examples. Just last week, I had my little proud daddy moment when one of my boys, he's 12, said that he was at his friend's house and his friend's parents just kind of buy various games. I guess this kid just says, "Hey, mom, dad, whatever is the hot game, can I get this?" And they're mature games, and he wants them to come over and play, and my son said, I can't play those games. My dad doesn't allow me to play that. And I said, that was my proud daddy moment.
That's awesome. How old is your son?
He's 12.
Wow, that's perfect. That's exactly what's happening. Kids at about that age, they want to be like adults. They want to play the adult games.
Right. And yeah, don't get me wrong. When we have family over and we're playing, I send the kids upstairs or whatnot. Mm-hmm. The other thing that came up just right now when I got cut off and I was waiting to come in and call you from a landline is my wife's aunt died, and I was telling her, relaying what the discussion was on your show, and she said, she has grown-up children that are out of the house. I'm not going to reveal her age, but, that's kind of the age category there. And she said she was not aware that games had ratings.
Yeah.
On them, and but basically, as far as banning, it's I think that's too far. We just need to be responsible parents. I mean, we do. I know there's other parents that will check our kids, cell phones for text. We do our background checks there. We want to make sure we know what's going on with their kids and where they're going, who they're talking to. Yeah. The same thing applies to these video games. Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. And I got a text that kind of brings up an interesting point. It says, if the game's so bad that it won't sell, it's no different than any other shooting game. Parents need to stop whining and actually act like a parent. Thanks so much for calling back, Ricardo. And I'm late to this news break. But I got to fit one other thing in, because I told you we'd talk a little bit about the military, and there's evidence to show, I actually just learned this today, but there's evidence to show, and we've known this for a while, that gamers, kids who grew up with video games, playing games, are excellent in certain combat roles that relate to the use of computers, remote vehicles, drones, things like that. A lot of guns are increasingly can be operated by remote viewing, from within a vehicle or something like that. They're excellent at that. But what's interesting is they're poor at detecting IEDs on the ground, because they don't have great peripheral vision. They have good focus, they have good hand-eye coordination, but there's evidence to suggest that those soldiers who are best at detecting IEDs on foot are hunters and kids who've grown up in rough neighborhoods and have always kind of had to, keep their eyes peeled. So interesting how different experiences bring skill sets that can be used across the board in the United States military. All right, I'm way past the news break, so we're just going to go straight there. You're listening to the Nightside Project on KSL.
As Ethan just talked about, people are upset after learning an upcoming video game release allows players to be terrorists and shoot innocent civilians at an airport. The revelation came from leaked footage of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Downtown today, Zach and Tyson tell KSL News Radios, it's inappropriate.
It's morally incorrect. It's not aliens.
If it were my son playing it, I don't want him to associate that with either being fictional or being fun. That's pretty dangerous.
The game's makers say the scene is included to depict the atrocities of terrorism. The TSA declined to comment to KSL on the game. Paul Nelson, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.